All lives matter is actually a violent statement, because the only time that people say all lives matter is in opposition to Black Lives Matter. And it's the most violent statement of love that you can do. It's like
on this side, and that's happening. This side, we're coming over to this other side. And there was a firework that's being thrown at the police. Wow! Big firework just popped off. People are very upset out here. The police are surrounded as well.
Thank you, Seattle, for being one of the most progressive cities in the United States of America. Well, ask him.
If you do not listen to her, your event will be shut down right now.
To let you on the mic. Okay. All right, so we are trying to be reasonable. We are trying to be reasonable.
We are trying.
We're gonna let you on the mic. We are gonna give you the mic. Well, after Senator Sanders. 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 Okay. All right. We're shutting it down. You are shutting it down. You are disrupting this event. You are disrupting this.
You gotta back up. You gotta back up.
Hey, back up. Just do what they ask you to do. But I was assaulted by that man. Hey, I was assaulted by that man. Yeah, he hit me on filing charges.
Fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket. Fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket. Fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket. Fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket.
This group marching at the state fair, chanting horrific things. Pigs in a blanket, fry 'em like bacon, they're saying. Casey Stiegel's live in Houston.
From this suspect. The suspect said he was upset about Black Lives Matter. He said he was upset about the recent police shootings. The suspect said he was upset at white people. The suspect stated he wanted to kill white people, especially white officers. The suspect stated that we will eventually find the IEDs.
But we have not seen a move from anybody in that direction to do anything like that. So, you know, couldn't predict what would happen in the future, but it does look like police are standing in front of this store. Tensions, as you can see, emotions are heated right now. But really, the police officers are telling me they just want to keep an eye on things. They didn't want a crowd in and out of this store, is what it sounds like. And it's not clear to me whether the store made the decision to close or whether police advised that they'd be closing. And I'm peering in the windows.
Deanna, have you had a chance to talk to any of these folks? And are they a lot just truly waiting for a ride? Or are they gathering because, you know, lots of people are talking about what happened tonight, so maybe they're just looking for other people to share their message with. But then you also see people really excited in the back of the shot.
Flexing.
Cops! Jail for killing cops! Jail for killing cops!
Dead wrong! Uncle Tom's is dead wrong! Uncle wrong! Uncle Tom's is dead wrong!
You don't make it home to your family. I hope you don't make it home to your family.
Protest group Black Lives Matter to march as honored guests in this year's parade.
Shut it down! Shut it down!
About 2/3 of the way along the route, the invited protest group held a protest, a mid-intersection sit-in stopping the parade. They threatened to stay put until Pride Toronto organizers signed a list of demands that included excluding police force floats and booths from Pride.
We are not telling individual cops and individuals that they can't participate. What we are saying is that the presence of 7 police forces creates an unsafe situation for a number of marginalized communities.
Pride Toronto's executive director and its co-chair showed up to sign the demands and get the parade going after a half-hour delay.
I believe that we just won!
Black Lives Matter participants celebrated what seemed like a win. But Pride Toronto's co-chair saw their demands as a starting point for discussions.
My reaction was to listen to them, to hear what they had to say, and to look at how we explore a further conversation to meet their requests.
Today, Black Lives Matter organizers said they fully expected Pride Toronto to take that approach.
We're not surprised, and I think that there's going to be a lot of negotiations, and I think there's going to be a lot of hard lines set from our end.
Local and national police forces have been participating in Toronto Pride for years. Today, the head of the association that represents Toronto officers expressed disappointment Pride Toronto signed the document.
We feel that we were thrown under the bus, and if that's the case, that they had no intent or they just wanted to keep the parade moving, they need to deal with it, and they need to deal with it now, and they need to offer our members and all police an apology.
The Black Lives Matter protesters also demanded more funding and guaranteed space for Pride events involving Black youth and Indigenous people who are LGBT. They also said everyone should remember that Toronto's Pride Parade itself began 35 years ago as a protest march. Ron Charles, CBC News, Toronto.
I think it's very fair in light of the anti-cop rhetoric that is sweeping the United States of America, fueled by this group, some of the vulgar, vile, vicious rhetoric that's coming out, talking about killing cops, and that's just some of the nice stuff, some of the stuff I can't even say here on TV, but there is no doubt in my mind that the 2 New York officers, Ramos and Lou, who were gunned down by an individual who made Facebook postings about wanting to kill pigs, and he was going to go out and hunt officers down. There have been officers across the United States who've had their cruisers shot at and struck while they patrolled. St. Louis, the same thing. Yes, this is part of a pattern now, and you'd have to stick your head in the sand to think that this thing here wasn't fueled by this vile, vulgar, slimy movement.